When we are manufacturing like something, like let's say an equipment, so there are costs coming with it, so that we can divide this cost. Uh, in general, it can be manufacturing like equipment, or manufacturing of manufacturing the process itself, the company itself, the factory itself. So there are many different costs. We have direct costs that vary with production rate. Okay, so um, but it's not necessarily proportional. We have direct costs that really vary with production rate. If you have a higher production rate, your direct costs will be higher, but they are not proportional, or I mean they are not like linearly uh, proportional. Okay, or like there are not really a certain function between these two. Then we have fixed cost. Uh, Fixed costs they don't change with the production rate. There are some fixed costs. It can be, let's say, the taxes, the insurances, the construction costs. Okay, let's say the offices that you need to build. So the offices, they don't usually depends to the production rate. Let's say if you need one manager for let's say one section, one division, so that is not really depend to the production rate. So fixed costs, they don't vary with production rate. They don't vary with the production rate, but they are directly relate to the production. They are directly related to the production, but they don't vary really with production rate. And general expenses is really related to overhead expenses. Like some is kind of related to the operation mainly. Okay, direct cost for the manufacturing. It can be raw material, waste treatment, utilities that we have, operating labors, supervisory and clerical labor, the managements, and maintenance and repairs, operating supplies, laboratory charges. So most of the time we have labs that we test the quality of products, and also royalty and patents. So if you, let's say, if you are producing a product, for is either a first time, or is a first time, or there is a product already being produced by another company and you want to produce that product. Let's say iPhone is already there, you want to produce something similar to iPhone, so you have to pay for the intellectual property or the patent, because iPhone or any product, they are already registered as a patent, as an innovation, as a intellectual property. If you want to use it, if you want to produce similar to things, you have to pay the right to produce that product. Then we have fixed costs. Fixed costs are one of the most important fixed costs is the depreciation of the fixed capital cost. It's fixed cost. Depreciation of the all fixed capital costs. So let's say you buy some cars, you buy some equipments, you buy some trucks for your factory. The price of the cars depreciate or drop. The price of the truck that you have to transport your products, your raw material, that will drop, right? Because like the price of the new truck after using every year will drop like a normal car. So those are the costs that you have, that we call them fixed costs. Local tax and insurance you have to always pay. they are also called fixed costs. Planned overhead costs. So we might have some overhead costs that we have to pay. So those are the fixed costs. Overhead can be, as I said, can be vacations for the employees that you have to pay, retirement plans, benefits that the employees they have. So those are all considered as fixed costs. Okay, now okay, like in this part of the course you might see a lot of definitions, okay, but I try to kind of organize them, okay, and tell them one by one so that it doesn't make you confused. But again, since it's a new topic, is normal, and then we are teaching online, and that might be a bit kind of challenging for you to understand all of them. But again, there are a lot of I try to explain as much as I can. However, there are a lot of information available on internet. If you really need more details about these definitions, you can search about them. There are YouTube videos, and also what I have done in the note here, in some slide I put some additional information for you in this part, so you can just go check those information as well. So not all the slides necessarily, but some of them they have some additional definition here. Okay then, so okay, total capital investment. The total investment that we need to put for a factory, it has three parts: fixed capital, okay, land, and working capital. Working capital is a money that you need to put to start the process, okay. So we have fixed capital investment, buying the land, and working capital. Fixed capital for equipment, utility, offices, all those expenses that you have at the beginning, okay. Then we have, okay, land that you have to buy, and working capital, the money that you have to put at the beginning to start the production. Okay, each of them they have a definition. Fixed capital is all costs associated with new construction that can depreciate, okay. So all the costs that you have, okay, all the costs that you have, and that they can also depreciate. Let's say the car, trucks, equipment, whatever. Land, lands you have to purchase, so is a capital investment for you, is an investment you have to put, is considered as in the total capital investment. But lands, they usually don't depreciate. Let's say if you buy a land today, most of the time the price of the land either is constant or it doesn't depreciate, okay, it will increase. Maybe short time in some countries the price of the land will decrease, like due to some economical issues, but long term the price of the lands always increase, okay, so it doesn't depreciate or it doesn't drop. Working capital, float of material to start the operation, and they usually cannot get depreciated. So float of materials, let's say you need to buy computers, you need to buy, I don't know, like some stationaries for the office, you need to buy some office stuff, those are the materials that usually they are consumable and they don't depreciate, or even if they depreciate, the depreciation is not too much. So we can write this equation in another way, okay. So if we write it in abbreviation, so we will have this: total capital investment is the fixed capital cost that we have, fixed cost investment or fixed capital investment, okay, plus land plus working capital, fixed capital investment. We're gonna go through the detail of each of them in the next few slides. Okay, now we need to know some of the definitions here, okay. Okay, so First one is salvage value. Salvage value is the value of your fixed capital investment at the end of the project. Let's say at the end of the life of your plant, at the end of the life of, let's say you build the factory, and the life of the plant based on the estimation is 15 years. Let's say if you keep the plant working like that, so it can work for you for 15 years. Okay, so at the end of the 15 years, let's say the equipment that you have, okay, the heat exchangers, I don't know, the compressors, after 15 years, if you want to know how much they cost, because you buy the compressor at the beginning $10,000, but after 15 years maybe it doesn't even worth $500, because it's already worked a lot, you know, it's already worked all this 15 years, so it doesn't really cost a lot. If you ask someone to buy it from you, he might not be really interested to pay for that. So so salvage value that we show it with S is the value of the fixed capital investment. Fixed capital investment is the equipment that you need to, you know, buy. Most of the time is this kind of things at the end of the project that we usually consider zero. Life of equipment, okay. So life of equipment, we usually show it with number of years, okay, N. And for different equipments we have different for different equipments we have different life of equipment. So those are numbers that will be that is provided by IRS, or they call it also US Internal Revenue Service. Okay, US Internal Revenue Service, they can provide us with the list of the life of different type of equipment that is used in the industries. This life of equipment is not really related to the actual equipment life. Actual equipment life is something, let's say if you buy a car, I don't know, like a Toyota car, they usually they are saying that the life of that car is 20 years, okay, but this 20 years, depending to the condition, can change. If you use that car all the time off-road, and if you use it, you know, like all the day, so like that is so that the car might not even work 10 years, right? So that life of equipment is based on some specific conditions. So that's why most of the time we say that the Toyota cars, they can either work 20 years, or let's say after 400,000 kilometers, right? So whatever arrives first, it will be, you know, like, I mean, the car is already gone. So that's why, like, this number of years that we say, it includes all these factors, how much the car has gone, you know, for how many years it has worked. So it's a bit different from the actual life equipment. Total capital for depreciation, okay, so is usually also related to the total capital, okay, that I mean is also considered when we are calculating the total capital for depreciation. The part of the capital that will depreciate, we also consider the life of equipment. The reason is that the equipments, once they get closer to their life, life cycle, to their end of their life, so the price will depreciate. And for that, okay, so is kind of how we can find it or like calculate it. We can use the difference between the fixed capital investment and the salvage value, okay, that this salvage value is usually zero. So for calculating this, we usually use this difference, the fixed into capital investment that you put minus the value of the minus the value of the process of the value of the investment at the end of the project. So this difference is how much money you will use. This is the money that you will put at the beginning. This is the money that you will put at the you will get at the end from this investment. Okay, if this is the, let's say, the money that you put to buy a new car, this is the money that you will get once you sell your car after 10 years. All right, so this difference is how much money you have lost, then divided by number of years. It can give you some idea how much money you will lose every year. So then for depreciation, we have yearly depreciation. It varies from year to year. So like as I said, for yearly depreciation, maybe the easiest way is to kind of divide this. Let's say if your project, your fixed capital investment, this is your fixed capital investment minus salvage value. This is the money that you put at the end minus the money that you will get at the end. Divided, let's say you had a project that was working 10 years. So this gives you, this difference is how much money you lost, how much money was depreciated. Okay, divided by 10 years gives you the money that you lost per each year. Okay, this is the simplest equation that you can use. That is when we consider that the money that we lose each year is the same. But usually the yearly depreciation change from year to year. This year the equipment will lose, let's say, more value than next year. Let's say if you buy a new car, once you get it out from the showroom, the car lose a lot of his price, right? So let's say the first year you lose a lot of money because you already bought a new car, but the second year the money that you lose is not that much. It's something like that. Book value. Okay, book value is a depreciable capital which is not used yet. Okay, book value again is the asset, is kind of the asset that you have. Okay, let's say you have I will explain this a little bit more later in this slide. Is the money that you have that is not yet depreciated. Let's say you have some raw material that you have not yet used, or you have some new equipment, new cars that you have not yet used them. Okay, so that's the money that you put, you bought them, but you have not yet used, so they have still their value. Okay, but it's not yet depreciated because they are new, you haven't used them. Okay, general expenses, that is another expenses that we have in the process. So it can be administration cost, it can be selling, distribution, marketing, and also research and development, that they usually call it R&D. So we have if direct cost, fixed cost, and general expenses, right? So general expenses, administration, marketing, distribution, selling, and also research and development, which is most of the time a very critical part of the company. If the company wants to survive for a long time, long term, this part, this division, research and development, has to be very active.